Hi and welcome back to another episode, I guess, of us sitting down and chatting about some stuff we're currently working on, some topics that interest us, and some things we think we can add value to other people's lives with. So this week I will Stephen in because I wanted to talk about something that he kind of brought in to us and that we've been running a lot of, something that we've been using tons, which is using optimization testing as our way of improving on small steps rather than focusing on massive meta changes that are going to completely redefine what we do, instead of looking to improve what exists through a little movement. So I wanted today to talk about that, to talk about how you can run optimization tests properly and get some inside scoop on exactly what they are and why they're better than rebuilding your website every week. So first and foremost, how do you identify and isolate an area to be optimized in anything you're working on?
Liam, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. So, I think the best way to look at any kind of optimization is you start with the most riskiest assumption. So, usually people break, like they've already got the website, they've already got ads running, and they've already got most things set up, like email marketing, everything. So, when you start by doing any kind of optimization, you got to figure out what's the first kind of assumption you're making. So for example, if your website has no visitors apart from people coming through ads, the most riskiest assumption is that someone is going to click on the ad and see your website. So by doing that, you kind of know where to start. If most of your website visitors are coming from Google, then your most riskiest assumption is everyone that sees your Google ad will click on it. So you kind of know that the first thing you want to start optimizing is that first point of contact. So it could be the Facebook ad and really ensure that the click-through rate's high enough. It could be the Google search result and make sure it's really captivating and making sure as many people that are seeing it are clicking through. And then once you do the first step, you move on to the next step. So if everyone that clicks your ad now, because now you've optimized and you've figured out that it is working, you move on to the next most riskiest assumption, which is like a conversion on the landing page or the website. So all you need to do is step by step, figure out the kind of customer journey, and then at every single point, and you do it one by one, because if you do too many tests at once, you don't really know what's actually working and what's not. So one by one, you just test out every single step and see if you can improve it.
Awesome.
Go from there.
Brilliant. Cool. We kind of lead into the next question too, which was how do you decide on how to run the test and how long for? So I guess the more details about the test itself.
That would really determine on what you're doing the test on.
Yeah.
So for example, on a Facebook ad, the good metrics that you could really start going through is like click-through rate. So how many people are seeing the ad and it's resonating with them enough to actually go through the next step.
Yeah.
So you would use like industry benchmarks. So let's say the average industry benchmark for your industry is 3%. So you know success could be above that, could be 4%. And you also know what the failure metric is, because if you're really below the average, you know you're doing something very wrong. So if you're at like 1%, for example, instead of moving on to the next phase and saying, cool, now we know that Facebook ads are working, let's move on to the website copy, you would repeat the process and be like, cool, how about this ad copy? Does this bring it to industry standard or above, or does it still have the 1%? And it's a really quick way to see if you're targeting the right people and if people are engaging enough as well.
Awesome. Cool. So, so finally, how do you measure results and how do you incorporate these into your wider approach?
How do you measure results? If you don't have analytics set up, please set up analytics. Most things nowadays have tracking of some sort. And even if you are doing traditional marketing, i.e. like non-digital, even like magazines, you can give people a special coupon or a special link that when they type that link in, you can still track them. It won't be 100% accurate, but it can still give you a sense of kind of who's clicking through. So like link tracking, setting up Google Analytics, reviewing Facebook stuff are all kind of key important things. And if you have any kind of goal conversion on the website, so e-commerce store is a really easy example because you know that if someone checks out, you know where they came from and how to attribute that. So setting up enhanced Google Analytics is really good for e-commerce, but even if your website doesn't have a direct conversion amount, so let's say like for us as an inbound marketing agency, our kind of goal conversion is someone filling out the contact form or a landing page to get in touch. So we can just put a value on that on Google Analytics and say everyone that fills out that form is worth $50, and that way we can still kind of put value on every kind of source of traffic.
Awesome. Cool, that kind of covers everything I wanted to talk about today. So just quickly recap it. Optimization tests, it's a really effective way for you to kind of work on small steps in terms of your approach to marketing. Instead of making massive decisions and changes regularly, this can be things as simple as updating a Facebook ad and trying to improve upon that point before you take that next step. So everything happens in a more logical flow. You can identify weak points quicker, act on them quicker, not get mixed up over trying to fix 7 things at once. It's a lot more effective in the long term. It seems less efficient in the short term, but it does pay off when you look at it from a wider scope. In terms of how you want to go about doing that, like we said, look for the area at the top, the very first entrance point, and look for the riskiest assumption and break that down right away. Look for how you need to get people across the door before you figure out how to get them at your table. The next thing you want to look at as well, make sure you've got things like GA set up, Facebook pixels, tracking and whatnot. You want to be tracking how these are performing. It's not hard anymore. A lot of these platforms are super simple to use now. If you do need help, do reach out to us. We're happy to help you set that up. But that is there, and it is simple, and it is effective. That kind of covers it for this week. So thanks, Steve, for coming in and kind of covering another interesting topic, something that we've been using a lot of and finding really, really effective. We've got some opportunities this week as well. If anyone does want to talk about this, talk about their marketing and how they can be doing better with what currently exists instead of trying to build brand new as one of our areas of expertise. So do reach out to us, stephen@inbound.org.nz or liam@inbound.org.nz. Happy to help out and happy to contribute. So yeah, that's us for this week. Cheers.
See ya.